All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Public-Private Partnership Decant Facility Study presentation. My name is Meiring Borcherds. I'm with the City of Mukilteo.
Hi, thanks, Meiring. And hello all. My name is Jess Brown, and I'm serving as the consultant project manager for this study. And we also have Julia here on the line. She's the assistant PM on the Herrara side, and will be helping with survey and monitoring of the chat. And then Rebecca, who many of you might know, is Herrera's principal on the project. She has a wealth of information, might help provide some QA support. We'll go over the agenda first. We have an hour together today and are planning on a combination of sharing information and soliciting some input from you. We want to take this opportunity to pick your brains a bit, and we'll be using a Mentimeter poll, and I'll provide a little more information about that on the next slide. So first, we'll start with an introductory question, see who all is with us today. Then we'll dive into the project overview and survey. Some survey questions, cover what the project's all about, some project drivers, and ask some more questions. And then we'll talk about where we've been with a focus on a particular previous study, go into where we're going, talk about project approach, and then leave some space for discussion and questions. So the Mentimeter platform is a way that we'll be gathering some input from you. You can access it on your computer or phone by using this QR code. And Julia is putting a link in the chat, I believe, as well. So if you go to the site, it will probably prompt you to put in a code. And so you can put in the code here. And let's see, just if you do want to participate, and we hope that you will, you just want to keep that up on your phone or your screen, because as we move through the slides, the question will populate for you. So we'll do an introductory / practice question here, and we're just curious about who all is in the room. So if you could go ahead and type your response. We'd love to see who all is with us. Okay, we've got some folks from the cities and counties. See, Meiring has put his info in. City of Spokane, Lacey, a couple of people from the city of Lacey. City of Tacoma, Maple Valley, Arlington. Oh, to figure out how to not quite sure how to get it to click to group responses. Well, there are others down here that I can't seem to get to. Oh, there we go. Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, awesome. And City of Redmond Stormwater Ops. Those are the ones we couldn't see. Great. Thanks all. It's great to know who we have in the room. And now I'm going to pass it back to Meiring to go over some project partners and a project overview.
Thank you, Jess. I'm just going to give a little bit of intro, and then Jess is going to take us the rest of the way. So just so we all know who the partners are here today for this presentation and this project. It's grant funded by the Department of Ecology through the CBP3 program, which is a new funding program within the state of Washington. And The city of Mukilteo was the grant recipient, applicant, and will be the fiscal manager for the grant. Washington Stormwater Center is going to be in charge of the tactical advisory committee, getting everybody together so we can coordinate our needs, and then also be in charge of the website, putting all the information up there that we need to know for background information, and then also as we go along with the communication plan through Herrara. Herrara Environmental Consultants will be the project consultant, the main principal consulting firm on this project. And then FCS Brown and Company will be doing our economic analysis, and then we need you, the participants in this presentation, and spread the word to your neighboring jurisdictions, because we do need you as partners on the Tactical Advisory Committee. Without you, we won't be able to do this program, because we will need some information from you to move forward. Talking on moving forward, the project overview. The project is, like I said, grant funded through the Department of Ecology. It was $294,000 that we received for this grant. The grant basically is going to look at the current needs and the future capacity needs for the decant facilities in Western Washington, especially as it applies to stormwater facility maintenance, and also the new street sweeping program that everybody in Western Washington has to follow, because we're going to need more capacity. Next. So what does this mean? So it means that we're going to need determine the capacity needs, what the needs are for each jurisdiction or each region in Western Washington. We'll see how we break it down. Jess will talk more about that and what they've learned from previous projects. Where the best location will be for decant facilities, either for jurisdictions or regional decant facilities. See where the best location would be based on demand. And again, that's where your participation will be very needed. What will be the cost of building new facilities, where they're going to go, where the resources will need to go, and where the resources will need to come from. What would be the risk? What is the risk of building decant facilities in different communities and different watersheds, based on the watershed's specific needs, and on the wastewater facility folks who will be receiving the effluent from the decant facilities. Then also looking at the legal issues. What would be the legal issues for operating a decant facility as a jurisdiction, or as a private partnership, or a community private partnership, as that is where we are trying to go with a lot of this work. And this is something that the grant is wanting us to address. They want us to look at the feasibility for performance-based contracting and developing private partnerships with private partners. Then lastly, the end product we hope to have is to have a draft RFP for jurisdictions to use. This template can then be used by a community. I'll pick on one community, let's say Arlington, who wants to build a decant facility. Does a private partnership make sense for them? And if they want to go that way, there will be a template for how to put that out, and how to measure the implementation of that. So from a feasibility, construction, operational perspective. Next. Project drivers. Sorry, stick with my notes. I think this is Jess. You jumping in there? Oh, you're still muted, Jess.
There we go. So yeah, as Meiring discussed, the project addresses a need to understand existing and future capacity constraints associated with waste removal. And there's the new street sweeping requirements that need to be implemented by July 1st of 2027. And we expect that to increase the need for sediment management. some permittees will need to develop a street sweeping program, while others will need to make modification to their existing programs. We're also aware that some jurisdictions are evaluating implementation of enhanced maintenance programs that might increase the frequency of cleaning of stormwater infrastructure like catch basins and stormwater BMPs, stormwater pipe, things like that. And that also would increase the need for sediment management. So with these changes, we expect there to be some impacts to future decant facility capacity, which already may be limited. So there's limitations to available locations, hours of operations that need to be looked at. And so this project will evaluate those capacity needs and that we might be currently facing and may face in the future. And then in addition to that, we'll be assessing the feasibility of an alternative funding mechanism, which we'll go into a lot more detail about later. So this project could result in the creation of regional decant facilities to address these concerns. And solid and liquid materials that are collected from road sweeping and stormwater infrastructure maintenance get hauled to these decant facilities for processing, treatment, and disposal. And they may be publicly or privately owned, as many of you know, and may or may not be open for shared use by external users. Okay, so for this project, looks like people have already answered. Awesome. So for this project, we will be conducting interviews and distributing surveys so that we can gather information about existing use and needs to inform our analysis. So now we'll go through a few examples of questions we'll be asking, and we're excited to hear your feedback. This is the first question. What is your current decant facility status? This is great. I love that we're getting so many answers already here. So we have 6 respondents that have so far that have an existing facility in operation. Now it's moved up to 7. 1 with using a shared facility, 1 the facility construction planned, and then 1 that's unknown. So this is good information. We at the end of the presentation, we will have a Google form we're going to be recruiting folks to join the pack. And in the form, we ask that people answer these questions again, because this platform, unfortunately, is anonymous and doesn't record who is answering these questions. So we'd love to know which 8 of you are saying that, you have an existing facility in operation. So I would appreciate if you filled out that form at the end, and Julia will provide a link and we'll talk a little more about that later. But this is great. Go ahead and move to the next question here. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Okay, next question. Are you willing to share the use of your existing facility? So we are also looking at the willingness to share existing facilities, and we'll be digging deeper into specific reasons as to why or why not folks are willing. We understand that there's, a number of concerns around shared use, and so we'll want to take a closer look at that. Looks like, oh, okay. So a lot of unknowns here. We have some that are no's, a couple maybes, and notably none that are yes at this point. Great. Looks like we can move on to the next one. Thanks so much for participating in the poll. Okay. Next question is about capacity. What is your decant facility's current capacity status? So this is another key piece of information. Is there room to share? Do folks have a facility that's already at capacity? So we're really looking to evaluate need. And this will be one of the questions that we'll be using in our surveys and interviews. So it looks like at least one is at full capacity. We got two now, some unknowns. Great, capacity increase feasible for one person. Great, thank you. So 5 respondees at full capacity and 3 unknown and 1 capacity increase feasible. And we have one more question. We're curious about if treated solids are being reused, and if so, how? Okay, we've got one no. It's kind of a in the weeds question, but thought it was worth throwing out there. See what we hear. Okay. I think that I'm going to move on. Oh, we got more. Yay. This is my first time using Mentimeter, so have to learn. Oh, you need to click your, okay, so we have no, not anymore. Some are taken to the dump after testing. Shipped via rail to landfill. Working to collect clean leaves off sidewalks. Nice. Huh. Take it to Cadman and they're ironing it. Great. Thanks for providing this information. Okay, now that we've heard a little bit from you, and thanks again, I'm going to just take us back a little bit in time and talk about the study that was completed a little over a decade ago. And it essentially took inventory of and analyzed decant facilities within 4 counties in Western Washington. So this is a figure that came out of that study, and it just shows the decant facility locations that were identified, whether or not they were shared and publicly or privately owned. So this isn't, necessarily representative of what the current situation is, but it was a nice graphic to get us started. So the study was called Strategic Decant Facility Siting Study for the counties of Snohomish, King, Pierce, and Thurston. And it, as I mentioned, compiled information on existing decant facilities within the 4 counties, identified obstacles to shared use, and identified priority areas for increasing capacity. And this was one of the series of maps that was prepared for the 2013 study, and again, may not reflect current conditions. And there's a lot going on in the map, but the purpose of showing it is to just note that we'll be updating these figures with an expanded study area and the current conditions. And, we'll be able to visually show where are the available facilities, what are the driving distances for various jurisdictions, and other information as well. So for example, we have an arrow here that just shows one of the King County facility as having both available capacity and a willingness to share. So looking forward to getting some more updated information and seeing where we're at here in 2025. So what were the results of the study? Of the facilities identified, about 50% were identified to have capacity for additional decant materials. 17% were willing to open to shared use with external users. And then 42% of municipalities indicated they want or may want to use another municipality's decant facility. So the key takeaway here was that there was more interest in using external facilities than a willingness to share facilities with external users. Also, not on this slide, but the report also highlighted that decant facility options were pretty limited for private contractors who are hired to collect sediment debris from, commercial properties, private residential communities, and like construction sites. A little more about the results here is that the study identified 4 areas that were outside of the 15 to 30-minute travel boundary from an available facility. And it also noted that 11 municipalities were planning to expand existing facilities and 7 were planning on building new facilities. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happened there and where we're at. So we know that additional facilities have been constructed since the study, and additional research is needed to understand if there are current capacity issues, what the need might be for additional facilities, and also identify like where regional facilities might be helpful, as Meiring had mentioned. Okay, so where are we going? Now that we have background on the work that's been previously done, we can jump in to answer this question. So the big picture, this project will revisit the study and update it to reflect the latest and greatest information available, and also expand the study area to include all of Western Washington. And it will help create a foundation to support creation of more decant facilities in more places to facilitate the appropriate disposal and reduce emissions associated with transporting waste long distances to existing decant facilities. And then finally, we want to evaluate, this through a public-private partnership lens. And we'll, again, give a lot more detail on that in a little bit. So high-level project summary, I'm going to go over these tasks. We've kicked off the study. We plan to have it wrapped up by September 2027, hopefully well before the end date, the grant end date into January 2028. So the first task I want to discuss is the research and feasibility assessment task. And the goal is to research and analyze the regional need and location opportunities for new facilities within Western Washington, the study area. And some key activities will be TAC formation, technical advisory committee formation and engagement. We want to collect as much information as we can, preparing surveys, getting interviews, doing some background reviews so that we can have a well-informed needs assessment. And we'll kind of culminate all that information into a research findings and recommendations report that the TAC will have an opportunity to review, as well as ecology. So the TAC will be open to private sector representatives from areas such as stormwater and wastewater divisions, including permit coordinators and O&M staff, as well as private sector representatives. We're going to continue to shamelessly plug that we are recruiting TAC members, so please let us know if you're interested. We'll provide contact info for Lori from the Washington Stormwater Center that and you can contact her if you're interested in participating. She'll be helping doing a lot of the coordinating for the TAC. And some roles will be to review draft deliverables such as reports and complete surveys and attend meetings. We're expecting around 4 meetings, give or take. And this slide is intended to provide just a snippet of the types of information we will collect. So since the 2013 study, several decant facilities are now open to other jurisdictions, but they might have limited hours or not be located in the most convenient location for other jurisdictions that might need to use them. So we want to reach out to the operators of these facilities to determine how things are going and get any feedback they have for recommendations they have for our study. And this is a photo of the Renton facility. Okay, next I'll talk about the economic and market research task, and finally provide information about what a P3 is, give a little more background on that. So the goal will just be to assess the feasibility of a P3 public-private partnership for decant facilities. And FCS will be leading this up, and they'll be looking at things like risk and liability, cost and revenue models, incentives, and they'll prepare a feasibility report based on their findings. So what is a public-private partnership? So for those of you that don't know, it's also known as a performance-based contract or community-based public-private partnership. So there's a few different names for it. But basically it is a partnership between a public and a private entity. And the public entity might be the city or coalition of cities and counties, and they define the program requirements, oversee compliance with regulations, standards, and then administer the contract. The private entity, also known as the private partner, would be responsible for the design, build, operation, and maintenance of the facility. And then the contract, it maintains public ownership, so that ensures long-term control while still leveraging the private sector's expertise in things like design and construction and operation maintenance. So again, the contract model is for the private entity to take on all of that design, build, operate, and maintenance over a period of time. And payment terms as a performance contract can involve partial pay upfront, so at the beginning, and then payment can occur at regular intervals as we have a functioning and well-maintained facility. In terms of stormwater performance, those performance measures could include measures of capacity for managing decant waste and increased cost effectiveness for waste disposal. And payment could be provided as dollars per decant facility capacity, such as gallons of liquid decant processed or tons of solids processed. And then the target might look like what a measure of capacity for decant waste in terms of, again, stormwater performance. Okay. And then there are, community benefits that and economic benefits that can be looked at, and performance measures for those, could look like increased accessibility for those lacking access or without enough capacity, and support of small minority or women-owned businesses. And then it also, could bring employment opportunities, programs like workforce training, workforce capacity building programs. And finally, verification, the project proponents could review the design at specific milestones and also can conduct a post-construction inspection. So there are some potential challenges we should acknowledge, given that this is a newer model that jurisdictions may have less familiarity with. There may be a bit of a learning curve in handling the complexities associated with the contract management. And then another key challenge is identifying a private partner that has both the willingness to take on this kind of contract and the expertise needed. So we do expect that as the need for private partners increases, we'll see an increase in, businesses willing to provide these types of services. Okay, so now we'll discuss kind of the end product that we're looking for here. And that's the draft RFP and contract. So following that economic and market analysis, we'll be moving to prepare a customizable RFP and contract that can be utilized by local governments. And there will also be a technical memo that will serve that can be used as a reference. So it'll summarize some key points of consideration and things like that to help support governments using the RFP and contract if they choose to do so. And we'll want to communicate the findings of the study, get the word out that there is this contract and RFP template. We'll communicate the findings, essential points of consideration, and recommendations to a broader audience at regional forums. Okay, kind of flew through that. So now we have a lot of time for discussion and questions. Just really interested in hearing about folks' experiences, their challenges, thoughts, and we'll try to answer any questions that you might have.
Jess, there is nothing in the chat at this time, but people, you can put your questions in the chat or you can raise your hands and then unmute yourself to speak. Please take advantage of this opportunity to help guide this project.
And while we wait, I'm gonna move to the next slide for our last plug to join the TAC, and also a link to the Google, the form that you can fill out. Looks like there is some information here in the chat.
I have a question. So maybe the folks that's joined us, can you tell us why you joined the meeting today? What's your interest in the meeting? Do you want to improve the process at your current decant facility? Did you just want to learn some more? Feel free to put up your hand or put it in the chat. I'm interested to know why we have 20 people here today. Nobody.
It's quiet today.
I know,
It's a good question. Yeah.
Monday. It's all the Seahawk fans that's on the line. They're all disappointed in that interception.
Okay, looks like we have some things coming through the chat. Thanks. City of Arlington currently does not have a decant facility and is exploring options. From Jason. That's good information to have. And we have
Jason, so where you guys are at, there might be, it might be a good idea to think about, as you're starting to think through this, you're in a community that's actively growing, as housing is growing more northwards. And again, as things grow that way, the problem is that for the businesses, for them to clean their catch basins, they have to drive very far south to get to a decant facility. So it increases the cost for them to maintain their private stormwater facilities. And that's one of the reasons we want to do this, is we want to see where we can put more cooperative decant facilities to reduce the cost for private facility owners to clean their facilities more cost effectively and therefore improve water quality within the region. Because what we don't want people to, go pull off on the side of the road and drop their load in a ditch. So yeah, this is a great place for Arlington to start thinking about. Brian is running day-to-day operations. So I don't know if we're going to talk much or build much on day-to-day operations with this project, Jess. I don't know if there's going to be a SOP. But in the tech, Brian, if join the tech, Mukilteo is happy to share our SOP with you, our standard operating procedures for our decant facility.
Yeah, and getting your feedback and kind of the intel on what's happening on your side, I think would be useful.
Yep, that's true, Heidi.
I see that Royce Young put in the chat that the Puget Sound starts here SciAT is doing a decant study. Royce, do you want to unmute and just quickly describe what the focus of that SciAT study is?
Well, I can't say too much because they haven't put it out yet.
Oh, okay.
But they're basically going to take the 2013 and review that and try to figure out kind of basically what you're doing because of the issues of the private folks not having a place to dump and already having illegal dumping happening. So yeah, it shall be interesting what the two different ones come up with.
Well, Royce, then I'm going to put this out there as the coordinator for the TAC. You or someone from that group should participate in our TAC so that you understand where we're going and what we're doing to be more efficient with our efforts. It looks like you'll start after we do get this project going. So there might be an opportunity to help feed each other information so there's no duplication of efforts.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I'm going to tentatively put you down as part
Okay.
of the TAC, and then you can determine if somebody else would also like to attend. And we still have a few minutes for more questions or comments.
I thought the rule was, Laurie, that if you participate in this session that you're automatically in the tech.
Surprise.
I had a question regarding if anyone from a wastewater perspective or anyone from a pre-treatment perspective has been brought into the fold in this conversation, because I see a large impact or coming from that side as well. Obviously, more waste being needed to decant. We need to build more facilities, and these facilities have to go through permitting and monitoring for a wastewater for ultimately the POTWs to be able to handle the waste stream. So I just wonder if there's been any thought or discussion about being prepared for that, I guess. Kind of just an open-ended comment question, but.
So yes, yes and no. Yes, we have thought about it, and part of the process will be to bring all the wastewater operators in into the tech. So if I think one of the things we spoke about to discuss here actually today that I think we forgot is if you are in a community that have your own wastewater facility, to definitely can you reach out please to your wastewater facility folks, and have them contact Jess Brown or myself or Lori, and contact Lori first because she's going to manage tech. Thank you. There's the next slide. Please have them contact Lori or me or Jess, because we really need them to be on board. And then, yes, we'll also have to bring on board the ecology folks who write the wastewater permits, because quite a few wastewater facilities do have limitations on their permits that might need to be increased to actually accept this. Because yeah, we can't just build something and then it has nowhere to go, right? It's like building a road to nowhere.
Yeah, we're in a kind of a interesting situation here at the City of Sumner where we just completed construction of a decant facility that handles clean dirt from right-of-way projects. So this is dirt that's hydro excavated during water meter installs or potholing. So nothing that's collected from street sweeping and catch basin or storm structure cleaning, but we just completed construction of this decant facility and it's gone operational, but at the same time we are a pre-treatment delegated authority here since we operate a joint treatment plant that services City of Sumner, Bonnie Lake, and parts of Auburn. So now we are operating a decant facility as the city, but we also are permitting ourselves with a pre-treatment program for that same facility. So we're having to get our operations folks up to date on how to do wastewater sampling for that facility. So there's kind of many parts are being brought in that we didn't, I think, foresee having to be brought in at the time when the engineers and everybody here at City Hall was designing this facility. But yeah, it's just an interesting situation.
It's a snowball, right? It's a snowball effect. Plus, no good deed goes unpunished. So yeah, so in Mukilteo, we built a wastewater a decant facility, and one of the things that we didn't realize is that just the geology for this area, and the fines, the sediments, the glacier till not dropping out very easily. So in the beginning, we had to change our process a little bit to get more of the fines out of the water column before it goes to the wastewater system, because we were blowing up our wastewater operators' grinding pumps, because there was so much sediment going through the system. So yeah, there's a lot of things that has to be considered with this. I think sometimes I'll talk for myself. Sometimes as a stormwater manager, I forget that some of these things turn actually into industrial operations, right? So operating a decant facility is basically like operating an industrial facility, a manufacturing facility, or something like that. Or like you say, you're now a wastewater treatment facility as well. So yeah, thinking through all those parts is very, very important. Brian, where's Brian from? Brian Donnelly.
I don't know.
So Brian, I know you're saying that you're remodeling. So I know, I think it's Bellevue is also remodeling. So if you want to, I don't know if you want to reach out to them, because they have a tight site remodeling. So they have to be, I believe they're doing some innovative things over there too, to make sure that all their things can fit on the site as they're doing the remodeling.
Jess or Julia, do you have any last minute thoughts or comments? And we just may end a little bit early.
Nothing on my end, just feeling appreciation for everyone that showed up and participated. So thank you for that.
I would just like to say that the form, you can either give your contact information for you to join the TAC, or you can nominate someone else from your organization. But I would say that it should be a low threshold. You can send us your information, but if you have to delegate later to someone else, that's also okay. We just want to make sure that we have a contact at different jurisdictions and municipalities.